Hello, Anna. I just reviewed your object discovery work on Driftwood Alchemy, and I love it. I don't have a ton of feedback for you. Actually, I don't think I have any feedback for you. I feel like you did great work across the board on this assignment. I really appreciate that you are foraging not only for objects, but for instances here. I think you did great work doing the clustering and putting the not only the found nouns, but also the attributes that go with them, the core content and the metadata underneath there. Just see if there's anything here. No, yeah, no, looking good. I love the use of rationale for why things are in versus why things are out, and why you might in the future promote things or demote things in future rounds. So that was great, and it will be very helpful for you in the future. So that level of rigor is going to serve you well. And I love the why here. You're saying things like, this is the main actor. Now, I will tell you that just because the main actor, like the user or the customer, is the main actor, doesn't necessarily mean that they are an object. Now, if there are friends, meaning that you're suspecting that some customers are connecting with other customers, then it has structure, instances, and purpose, and therefore it is in fact a an object. But if you can think about a website where you don't have, let me try to think, like you don't have customers connecting with customers, or customers opting into observances, you might say that the customer is a role, or the user. It would never be a customer. The user would be a role in your system, but it's not an object, because there's only, in this case this made up case I'm giving you, there's only one instance of the user, which is you for your system. If you don't understand, we can talk about it more in our mentoring session or within an office hours. Just let me know. But I love the rationale and the use of why here. The thing that I'm going to ask you to think about, and this is going to be bonus material because I think you are really. Ooh, wait. Let me go back to OBS. Excuse me. Because I think you are really getting this stuff. Is I want you to think about junction objects for a second, and where you might start seeing junction objects being valuable in your system in the future. Now, if you're unfamiliar with junction objects, totally understood. Let me give you the archetypal example of a junction object that might help you out. So let's not think about Driftwood Alchemy. Let's think about a service oriented platform. So this service oriented platform will have practitioners. Those are people that could either be healthcare professionals, doctors, astrologers, tarot readers. It doesn't matter. They provide a service, and then clients, people, Jake, Anna. These are people that are looking for services. So if you imagine that there's practitioners, and the practitioner has a name, they have an office location, they have specialty, and you've got a client. A client has a name, an email address. Maybe they have a bio, a picture, things like that. The idea of a practitioner and a client being a junction object, what does it mean when a practitioner and a client is a junction object, or a practitioner meets a client? Well, that would be an appointment. And that appointment would also meet SIP. It would have structure. So an appointment has a date, a time, a location, whether it's online or not, whether it's confirmed. It has instances. So an instance would be Jake Zukowski's natal astrology reading from Claire Moon, for example. And it would have purpose. I need to know where to be, who I'm meeting, what room, whether it's online, stuff like that. And you can imagine that the relationship in the appointment object would have one practitioner and would have one client. So the one practitioner, the one client, then meet for an appointment. Going back to your screen for a second, thinking through here, and I want you to think through this in relationship discovery. Are there things here where the one thing and the one thing might combine and turn into a new object that meets SIP. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're doing fantastic work, and I want you to start thinking ahead of where you're at right now. All right, good work. Be well. Bye.